Hey Pyros, 𝗬𝗲 here at 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀𝘁. I hope you guys are doing great because we got an awesome top 5 video, but it's not our typical. So unlike the majority of our typical top 5 recommendations where we showcase you some of the most amazing products in each specific category, in this one it's going to be a little bit different. So these are going to be the top 5 things when it comes to assortments, or as we like to call them here at 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀 select kits, that fireworks companies are being dishonest with you. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these marketing strategies, they are basically breeded into the fireworks industry. So the retailer that you are shopping for, some of them, they might not be, realistically, they might not be the reason why there's this specific perceptions, but definitely there's many of them that a lot of the fireworks industry plays on, and that's why we want to share this video with you guys, because first of all, we understand majority of you guys are not going to be shopping with us here at 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀, because after all, there's not that many 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀 out there. 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀 does not ship fireworks yet. So of course, and United States is a huge market, so whether you are on the West Coast to the East Coast, from the South to the North, a lot of us shoot fireworks, and a lot of us typically do take a look at assortment, and we do consider to add them to our 4th of July or New Year's holiday season. Now, hopefully you guys can use this video as a just general feedback from someone within the industry, just so that way whenever you're going to shop for assortments, you are more aware of these type of tactics, so that way you make the right decision, whether that's going with an assortment or buying products individually. So let's just get to it. First of all, I do want to mention that there's no chronicle order for this. So for some of you, the first thing that I mentioned, it might be the most important thing that you're going to look out for. And for some of you, it might be the last one. So there's no particular order, but I think these are some pretty good tips for you as a shopper to be a little bit more savvy. So the first one is, guys, the perception when it comes to assortments. And I think when it comes to the perception, of course, you can tie this in with all the other ones, but what I mean by the perception is that often when it comes to assortments, you have this perception that you get more, right? But that's technically not always true, because if you notice, a lot of these medium to large size, so if we go over here like Pyro City, we consider this a large assortment, and then something like King of the Block is an extra large assortment. You'll notice with a lot of them, you have a very great presentation, which, don't get me wrong, like presentation is very important, but at what cost? With a lot of them, you are getting, there's decent amount of space that is wasted, that's just plain cardboard. And guys, don't get me wrong, sure, fireworks prices have come down a little bit because shipping prices have become much more reasonable, but you are definitely paying for this cardboard, and especially when it comes to assortments, you pay a premium for this cardboard. So usually if I were to estimate with a lot of it in price, like if this is 15-20% of the space waste, and when it comes to packages, let's just say that you're paying that 15-20% of price just to get cardboard. And often that's one of the biggest problems, that when it is with assortments. And of course, as I mentioned with this, the actual retailer might not be at fault at this, because after all, most retailers, they don't manufacture their own stuff. Like for instance, even for us right now, we do manufacture our own fireworks, but we have still not manufactured any assortments. And of course, in the near future we will, but definitely you'll notice that this is not the approach that we would like to do, just because after all, guys, you are paying for extra cardboard. So the local mom and pop's place that you are shopping from right now, understand that there's a perception automatically blend in that, you know, packages are going to look bigger, but really you're not getting more, and it gets much worse typically with bigger packages. So for instance, like King of the Block, guys, there's so much cardboard in there. Pyro City, I mean, even with this, like, that's a big, nice, you know, bold name, but you're paying for a lot of cardboard. But anyway, so that's the first one. Now, another one that I want to mention is quality, guys, and this is a big problem that I have with assortments. Often, when it comes to quality, you are not always getting the best quality when it comes to assortments, because typically, a lot of manufacturers, when they make their assortments, or, you know, as we'll call them here at 𝗜𝗱𝗂𝘀𝘀 select kits, Basically, there's specific items that are designed to be only made for assortments. And those are the ones that I have a big problem with, because typically those are the ones that, let's just say, typically they're cheaper to make and they're mass produced, and it's something that most people don't look at as much. For instance, if we were to look at this one from Brothers, the Works, right? You do have decent amount of selection, but as a consumer, if you are not really, you haven't looked into so much fireworks, it's very difficult for you to know how much of a difference in quality between these different items. And often, I mean, you see with these, for instance, you are going to get some generic stuff such as garden in spring. Again, sure, you are getting the quantity, but I don't know about the quality. So that's the thing. Now, a good way that you can be careful when it comes to these is whenever you're buying assortments, look at the items that that store provides, and do you see some of the items that you see in this assortment? So if you really want to consider buying an assortment, like for instance, I'll show you as an example. So we look at, again, I'm going to the extreme, but something like 𝗧𝗵𝗲, right? Now, what I like about this one specifically, and again, it doesn't matter, you don't have to buy this much quantity because, for any budget, there's plenty. But the thing is, a lot of these items that you see in this one, guys, we actually sell them in store as well. So what does that tell you? Is you are getting decent amount of products that are quality. But if we look at something like, we just saw the Works, a lot of those items specifically are designed to be part of assortments. And that's where the quality can really vary. And don't get me wrong, I know right now I'm picking on Brothers, but again, you can look this with any different brands. Of course, right, the same thing, you can look at some of the stuff for Black Cat. Like, don't get me wrong, for instance, Black Box, not my favorite, but compared to some other items, sure. Like, for instance, these fountains, like, I'm not a huge fan of. I know this one is part of a package, but still, I think personally they'll be better than something like this. So again, every brand is something that you have to watch out for stuff like that. But that's why try to pick item. If you want a good quality one, see what the store offers and see what are those filler items. Now, the third one that I want to mention, guys, is price, because of course, price is one of those big things, especially when you shop with, when you shop for fireworks. And this is where, in this one, I kind of put the blame more into the different retailers, because often when you go to shop for assortments, majority of retailers out there, they are going to tell you that, yeah, you got to go with an assortment because you save 10, 20, 30, 50%, whatever their markup is, right? It's much better deal. But typically now, that tells me one of two things. Number one, maybe that is going to be true at that retailer shop, because maybe, for instance, if you look at something like, let's say, Party Pack 5, 143 here, if you were to buy the fireworks individually in their store, it might, they tell you is $200, $300. That's telling you that their in-store prices are way overpriced. Or number two, they are just using a sales tactic to make sure that you go ahead and purchase this without actually looking over everything. And realistically, maybe the prices are not going to be, you're not going to save as much as what you're being told, right? So that's one of two different things when it comes to pricing. But guys, often, and the way you can avoid this is when you're shopping with fireworks, because even nowadays, I mean, don't get me wrong, we sell fireworks by the case, but we are not the only company that sells fireworks by the case. So if there's a fireworks retailer that sells fireworks by the case and the case prices are reasonable, and what I mean by that is typically, that's why you got to shop around, look at the prices online, all of that, do a little bit of research. After all, if you're watching this video, you don't mind doing a little bit more research, but it's very important, because price at the end of the day is one of the most important, because after all, you can have something that could be the best quality, but if the price is cuckoo crazy, then of course it does not make sense, right? Now, the next one is, of course, when it comes to assortments, is selection. Yes, when it comes to assortments, often, and this is kind of like going to be tied into with price, but a lot of fireworks retailers are going to tell you, oh, you get much better selection when you go with assortments. And don't get me wrong, assortments have a place for the right customer. You don't want to go around and shop and look at every different item, just something that makes your decision like easy. Then of course you can go with an assortment, but you do not typically, the selection that you get in assortments, and to be honest with you, like we've done a video here at Elite Fireworks between King of the Block, which is $508, and $500 in store. Not only did you get a much more superior selection in store here at Elite Fireworks, but we got much more fireworks on top of that. And there was no fillers, guys. Like for instance, all of these right here, I consider them fillers. You have the King of the Block, just look at from year to year, it has the packaging change, or look at something like Have It All from Brothers, has the package, whatever package that you are looking, or like the Godfather, or you name it, right? And if it's changing over the years, that's a problem. The more consistent, the better. If you are having a package, for instance, like I know Flash Flood, that's an example, it hasn't changed in a long, long time. That's a good news, because that means they are not using fillers when it comes to the selection. So definitely something to check out. And then of course, guys, tying this all in is, in general, gimmicks. So you gotta watch out for gimmicks. I know when it comes to assortments, you don't see it as much because there's decent amount of retailers that they might do buy one, get one, buy one, get two, but they'll exclude assortments. But in general, this is tied in with fireworks in general. Watch out for gimmicks, because after all, guys, it doesn't matter if the price, I'll just give you this one as an example, Flash Flood, $145. But you might have, and we've had this before, I mean, that's why we have a specific section, which, let me just go, I know this is not part of the assortments, but we have a specific section. We're very anti buy one, get one here at Elite Fireworks, but we have a specific section to just educate customers who are so implemented that they are so, for customers who really do think that they are getting a phenomenal deal. Now, as an example, I'll use, for instance, like Irish Legend. So $66 mix and match. Guys, this $33 cakes. Same thing with this, for instance, $33 cakes. But at the end of it, we've had customers that are like, you'll leave the price $33, but there'll be people that literally, they'll go something like 150, buy one, get one free, and they're like, yeah, I'll take it. Now, it's a good price because you're paying $33, but for us, it's to where the education, and we're out of cases for this one, but that's why. If there's places that offer in bulk, like look at this, guys, instead of 33 bucks for a 500 gram cake, $18.70 when you buy the case. So definitely watch out for gimmicks, because I know they're typically not as pronounced when it comes to assortment, because like I said, some retailers, they do avoid assortments in general. Just because they were to do the Flash Flood, buy one, get one free, they might do like $400, buy one, get one free, or something like that, which then it's like, okay, it's a little bit too much. So that's why there's places that avoid it, but still, it's one of those things that they still do it even for assortments. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below, do you typically buy assortments, or what type of fireworks do you typically buy? But anyway, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you in another video right here on our channel. Bye-bye.